All right, it's starting right now, and we're live. Here we go.
All right, welcome everybody to this day's cause-driven conversation, and today we are literally driven to a location. We're live. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Carson Henry. I'm the executive director for YMCA Youth and Family Services, and I'm here live at Strayer University, out in the middle of nowhere of Maryland. And your other host is
Andre Anthony, and I'm with the YMCA of Rock River Valley. I'm the executive director of our Youth Achievement and Community Outreach branches. Welcome, everybody.
And just like always, today we're having a cause-driven conversation where, basically what we've decided is we have a network of really cool friends, and we want to invite all of our friends to have an opportunity to speak to the folks out in the community, young emerging leaders in the YMCA movement. Today, we have an awesome conversation for you today. We've got a good buddy of ours, Roberto Aguirre. Did I say that correctly? I might have messed it up.
That was right.
Was it right? All right, cool. I don't ever want to butcher anybody's name. President and CEO, I'm sorry if I'm moving the camera a little bit, of the Arlington-Mansfield YMCA in Arlington, Texas. So, Roberto, thank you very much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you with us. So normally, the way we get this started, first of all, for the viewers out there, I am in my car, but I am not driving my car. I'm stationary. I don't want to get yelled at. So, Roberto, normally the way we get this started off is we ask our cause-driven leader to share with us what they really do. We can read your title and we know we can go look you up and see all the amazing partnerships that you create. But when you think about like what you do, how do you describe it to people?
Thanks, and Carson, thanks for the invitation. And tell everybody the truth is you are by the university taking their Wi-Fi because for some reason your YMCA could not afford the Wi-Fi or something. I don't know what happened probably, but it's known that we go by the public school next door and the university and we take the Wi-Fi. But I appreciate the invite, and I appreciate the work everybody's doing, and thanks for all you guys do in your own communities. To answer your question, yes, my title probably everybody, you introduced me, and what is it that I really do? I think when I try to summarize that, I look at myself as an influencer. My job is to influence people in different ways, whether they are YMCA supporters, whether they are YMCA staff members, volunteers. I think the influence factor and what influence I can have on folks is one of my main duties. That's what I probably do or try to do, sometimes more successful than others, day in and day out.
I like that.
I like that answer.
It's also a competency.
Go ahead, Carson.
No, that's it. I just said it's one of the core competencies. We got to learn that one.
Yeah, and I like that. I really like that answer. So, Roberto, we're going to switch gears real quick here. As a leader in your position in the YMCA, and again, as a leader in the YMCA,
okay. You're freezing. You're froze.
I'm frozen.
You're back.
Can you see me now?
I can see you. We can see you now.
We got you back.
I'll try that again.
You might want to go by the university and grab their Wi-Fi.
Hey, these shots fired with the jokes right now. I like it. What would you say is your greatest joy in your position as a Y leader and a leader in the Y movement?
Sorry, Andrew. What was the question again?
What would you say is your greatest joy as a Y leader or a leader in the Y movement?
My greatest, and it's breaking up.
Joy.
My greatest joy. It's you know, I've been with the YMCA for 33 years now, and so it's been quite a road, and I think the ability to shape, you know, the community in which I am part of it is probably the greatest joy, and it's very easy to say, but to be able to be a part of a community, and I have within my 33 years, I have had I believe 8 different geographic moves. So I've been able to be a part of 8 different distinct communities within my YMCA career. And within my 4 years here in Arlington, that's what I try to do. That's what I think that's what gets me out of bed every day. That's what gets me back to work, and it is a joy. I don't know that I have one thing that really is the main joy, but I think the ability to shape for the better the community that I'm a part of is what the fuel that keeps me going.
Let me piggyback off of that. I'm asking you, if you had to give, if you were in the elevator with somebody and they told you, and you said, you know, they saw a YMCA logo on your jacket, and they wanted to know, why do you love working for the YMCA? What would you say? You have 7 seconds with this person in the elevator.
The ability to shape my community for a better tomorrow.
I like it. I like it.
I might create a donor brochure with that one.
Do you have a patent on that, Roberto?
Actually, let me copy. Will you send me the video so I can give it to my marketing directors as well?
Of course.
I'm gonna need the audio so they can copy that.
Good.
So.
We'll send you the link.
All right.
So to follow up on that, can you, as the first couple of these that we're doing, actually the first 6 of these cause-driven conversations, we're going to be focused on 6 leaders of employee resource groups around the country. So if you don't mind, we want to continue to expose all our viewers and basically the whole movement to all the leaders and all the different employee resource groups. So if you don't mind taking a moment and just telling our audience a little bit more about the employee resource group that you lead.
I'm currently the chair for the Hispanic Latino employee resource group, and I have been a part of that group from since the early 1990s probably. Many of you, you know, young leaders, you know, have been in the movement for not that long, I think, but it's historically there were 2 main groups: the African American and the Hispanic leadership networks that we were called. We have a lot of challenges. I was at a conference yesterday, and they were talking about, you know, the future, and specifically here in Texas, the Latino population within our state and what the future was. But the presenter, the keynote speaker, was making a point that that's not the future. That is today. The future has arrived here. In Texas, the last high school generation, majority Caucasian, graduated in 2014. So that's behind us. From this point forward, there's not going to be a high school generation in the state of Texas that is not a trilateral, multi-generational, ethnicity kind of a generation. So we continue as a group, as an employee resource group, to do a couple of things. One is, how do we attract Hispanic leadership to the movement? If we are not successful in attracting Hispanic leadership into our movement, we are going to have a tremendous deficit. And I'm not proud to say that in 1991, 4% of the workforce of the YMCA on a national level was Hispanic Latino. We are up to about 5% now. So we have 4 to 5 now. We have not made any ground, unfortunately, and that's not good for the movement, regardless of where you are, regardless of what you do within the movement. So once we are able to attract Hispanic Latino staff to our YMCA's, the second challenge is how do we keep it? How do we keep them? So we have, as a group, taken on the initiative of offering a professional development program. It is specifically targeting Hispanic Latino staff who are full-time. We are pushing and identifying individuals that we can get them on an educational track that will help them get to their professional goals. And so we continue to target and to take those two primary tasks of how do we recruit Hispanic Latinos into the movement, and how can we help their professional development.
Wow, that's really cool. It's really one of the best parts about these calls is that we get to expose everybody to the phenomenal work that the ERGs are doing, and we're so incredibly thankful for what you guys are doing and your leadership of that ERG. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But you know, while you do that, I know that's a lot of hard work, and just like every day, you know, leading a YMCA with all the staff members, what do you do for inspiration? Is there a book you read? Is there a person you talk to? What do you do for, do you just kind of go for a walk? Where do you get your inspiration every day?
I'm probably a little bit different kind of a person, and I try to be that way. And I always tell people that I hope I'm an inspiration to younger people, because if I can get the job done, you guys should be able to get the job done with no problem. So I'm not much of a reader, interesting enough. You know, I always read in school what I had to read and what I was asked to read. So I'm not one of those reader. You know, I don't learn by reading as much as I learn by practice. I'm a practical learner. I need to, you know, I need to hit the wall a couple of times before I figure out that the wall is there and I need to go around. And so I do things different. You know, some of the typical things, it may be kind of a boring, but I do like to do my workouts. I like to get out and do some physical activity to help me, you know, kind of recharge. For the longest time, I do auto racing. I race cars. So not many YMCA people do that, but here recently with my 10-year-old son, which I'm a little old to have a 10-year-old, but that's my only son, and spend time with my kid. And the whole racing, to me, it does a couple of things. It kind of gets me out of my YMCA mode, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that we do within the racing world that applies so much to teamwork. In reality, people think that racing is just push the gas pedal and go fast, but there's a lot of things that we do within our race cars and within tactically to win a race. How do you set up your car, and you know, how do you gather information, and how do you have your crew and your people helping you out get there? That's how I really unplug. That's how I recharge. In terms of you know, more of technical information, I like to attend trainings. I like to talk to people. I like to, you know, just get their thoughts and ideas, and how do we apply that to what we are doing. Yeah, but I'm more of a practical learner than someone who wants to read and do those things.
You're illustrating why I think these calls are so cool, because I would have never thought you race cars. That is awesome.
I think the same thing.
I
still internet. He races cars.
I don't do a lot of extreme stuff, but you know, outdoor stuff. You know, things that get my adrenaline going a little bit. You know,
that's awesome.
As we speak, I got 5 broken ribs and a broken clavicle from my little you know, slope accident over the holidays. So I learned that there's a tree and that the tree will win if you hit a tree.
This is great. All right.
You have 5 broken ribs and a broken clavicle?
Yes.
Wow.
And one of the ribs is broken on the front and is cracked on the back. So total, I have 7 bone fractures right now. They're about 3 weeks old.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so we get some pills around here.
Well, we wish you a speedy recovery on that one.
Roberto's going to be the walking spokesman for Tylenol.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the interview. So, all right, Roberto. One of the things we try to do lately is engage our audience through like a virtual conversation. And the way we do that is we ask our cause-driven leader for the segment, the network of emerging leaders, a question. So if you had a question to ask emerging leaders from around the country and you wanted them to answer it, what would you ask them?
Recognizing that most of our emerging leaders are probably in the millennial kind of a generation, and me being a baby boomer and often not understanding and really trying to figure out how do we best work and what's the what's the generation bringing, and are we listening to the generation? Is the direction the YMCA movement is heading, in your opinion, is the YMCA going to be relevant in 30 years, which is at the time that many of the current folks, the current millennials, will be pretty well into their careers. They're going to be leading the organization. So is the organization, in your opinion, currently doing the right things to be relevant in 30 years? If it is, what is your current role and how can you make it better? And if it's not, what should we do about it?
Wow.
That is an excellent question. That is an excellent question.
I love the fact that when we do I love the fact that when we do that was a very provocative and interesting question, and I love it. That was a good question. I honestly don't even know that I know the answer to that question right now. Well,
all right, Jay.
This is that time where we're nearing the end of our time together, Roberto, and this is that time where we aim for a drop the mic moment at the end of these conversations. So this is what we call #Real Talk. So this is the #Real Talk moment. So you may see.
Lost you there.
You lost me. You got me back.
You're back.
We got you.
So you may say to yourself, what is a #Real Talk moment? Well, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. So Roberto, this is that moment where you'll say something you truly believe in and something that you've learned is actually true, whether it be from personal experience. That might be provocative, especially if it applies to someone who really could use a reality check, something that we must hear and come to grips with. So the real talk, the #Real Talk question, which we've used this question now a number of times, and it's always interesting to hear the different responses to it. So I'll go ahead and ask you the question. This is the age of the millennials that we've been talking about, and millennials generally are, bucking the system. We do it our way. We can do it faster. With technology, we can do it a little better. It's sometimes I don't want to go as far as saying it's millennials against the world, but sometimes we approach life that way. And in your opinion, what would you say is the most detrimental thing a young person should do, a young professional in the YMCA can do to extinguish the fire of his or her career before it even gets a chance to take off?
You were breaking up a lot.
Okay.
So Carson, did you get the question? I get a lot.
So the question is, what do you we're talking to millennials typically, so what do you see if you had to keep it real with them, just really tell them the truth? What do you think they need to know as they move forward or be aware of, so they don't sabotage their career and potentially even our presence in the movement?
I believe that what I would like to find out, what I would like millennials to challenge is how can millennials communicate thoughts and ideas. And I can tell you this probably by experience, because within our team here locally, we have a number of millennials. And I'll be honest with you, and I told them frank up, I have a hard time sometimes communicating, not talking to them, but how do we get to the result basis? So how is it that we don't live on the moment? How is it that we can think 30 years from now? I think generationally, some of us tend to think, well, we think differently. And if I was probably be critical, is that I feel that sometimes thinking about tomorrow is great. Thinking about next week is great. So how is it that we can how do we communicate best? You know, because what happens often when everything is about tomorrow and how can we be better tomorrow, you may not be taken seriously. So if there's a challenge, there's like, okay, are you thinking about a week from now, in a month, in a year from now? So how does everything connect? And I think there's some very bright minds and there's some very bright ideas, but often perhaps not taken seriously because we don't understand it. And it's not that the millennials are wrong or right. A lot of times they may be right. It's finding that gap of understanding to melt it with, you know, experience, and respecting this experience to come up with that blended product that will ensure the movement is going to be here in the future. I'm a little bit concerned that a lot of the decision making is right now is being made by folks like me and baby boomers and people that do not see the angle of the millennials. So find a way to very effectively bring the millennial angle into the direction of our movement.
Future facing, I like it.
So,
well, we truly appreciate you taking time. We're sorry for the technical difficulty, but like you said, next time we'll have Dre steal the wireless from the local elementary school.
Carson already learned the lesson, obviously.
Carson learned. Well, except that Carson just went completely out.
I just said I'm out. Roberto, we want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Dre, as always, I really appreciate you helping to lead the cause and the movement. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in today. We couldn't be more happy to have you. We're just signing off today, but we look forward to the next video. We've got more of our cause-driven friends who are going to be speaking to you about the ERGs and how you can advance your career. And don't forget, you have to answer the question, #ELRNNation. And the question is, do you think our why is going to be relevant 30 or 40 years from now? With that, I'm Carson Henry. Andre
Anthony.
Let's sign off.
All right. See you all.
Later on. Bye.